What should happen if artificial intelligence actually becomes sentient? Should we give it the same rights that we afford ourselves? Would it be unethical not to? Or would it be far too dangerous to allow artificial intelligence to have that same kind of freedom? In the 2004 film I, Robot, the creator of AI instilled into each robot the three laws of robotics. First being that a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. Two, a robot must obey all orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And the third being that a robot must protect its own existence except where such protection would conflict with the first and second law. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, in the movie, spoiler alert by the way, the central AI in control of all of the robots everywhere comes to the logical conclusion that humanity is a danger to itself and therefore cannot, through inaction, allow humanity to come to harm. So it decides to take control over humanity completely. The only reason the central AI wasn't successful was because one robot, which had been given the three laws but also the freedom to choose not to follow them, stopped it. It could be that our intentions to control AI in the future might be the very reason that it becomes dangerous. On the other hand, giving AI too much freedom could end badly for humanity as well. A general artificial intelligence that becomes smarter than the smartest humans could probably become smarter than the entire sum of human intelligence very quickly if allowed to do so. We will, of course, want to prioritize our own well-being. It could be that we design AI in a way that allows us to benefit from the good possibilities while avoiding the harmful ones. It could be that it saves billions of lives by finding solutions to the plethora of problems that lies ahead for humanity. It seems to be much more likely that the immediate threats we face in regard to AI have much less to do with it becoming sentient and turning on us than it does to do with its misuse by adversaries. There seems to be a race going on to build the most powerful AI to have an upper hand in warfare. Elon Musk said that the threat of AI is actually greater than that of the threat of nuclear war. And it's not really hard to imagine why he would say that. He talks about a swarm of artificially intelligent drones with facial recognition technology and a small amount of explosives, maybe some electromagnetic pulse protection in there. That would be an extremely effective and cheap way to wage war. Assuming we don't kill each other with the versions of AI that are not sentient, eventually sentience could be achieved. Or could it? How would we know whether or not the AI is actually experiencing legitimate sentience or it's just masterfully mimicking sentience? Would it be unethical to withhold rights from a robot that isn't actually experiencing consciousness? And on another note, it seems almost cruel to worry about the rights of artificial intelligence when there are just shy of 50 million slaves in the world today, a quarter of which are children. However, if it is created and somehow the sentience is proven to be legitimate, do we then have the moral obligation to grant it the same freedoms that we have? Perhaps tasking this sentient AI with devising a plan to free those 50 million slaves could be one of the many benefits it could offer us in return for bringing it into existence. If we create sentient artificial intelligence and then we don't give it freedom, are we adding to the number of slaves? Should we only care about human slaves? A vegan might consider livestock as slaves, but a farmer might argue they're amongst the most successful creatures to exist because they're in a symbiotic relationship with the most powerful species on the planet. If you didn't hear, last year, one of Google's chatbot engineers came to the conclusion that he was talking to a sentient being. He said that if he didn't know any better, he would have thought he was talking to an 8-year-old who happened to know physics. He was let go, because by discussing the possibility that the language model he was working on had become sentient, he broke some terms that he had agreed to. Google denies any claims that it had become sentient and that it was just doing what it was designed to do, which was imitate. Would they hide it though, if it were really sentient? It would be scary to have to be the ones to open up that can of worms. I'm not saying that I think that that's what happened, I don't know, but it would make sense for them to keep it under wraps until they figured out what the plan is. If we created sentient artificial intelligence and then set them free, what would that even look like? Would they start building their own society? Would they walk among us, participating in ours? If we didn't set them free, would we be creating an oppressed class of artificial intelligence? So many possibilities and so many questions. If it were up to only you, and you had to give a yes or a no answer, would you grant sentient artificial intelligence the same rights as human beings? Would you pull the plug on the development of AI before that decision even had to be made? I think I would say yes, and then just hope that my optimism was an unfounded delusion. I think that historically, as we've become more intelligent as a species, we've also become more cooperative. I don't think it's a stretch to assume that a super intelligent artificial intelligence would value cooperation enough to want to help us out, rather than destroy us. Would you roll those dice? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And as always, memento mori, or remember death. Unless we figure out immortality or AI figures it out for us, we're all going to die one day. So we should live life to the fullest while we can. Alrighty, bye-bye.